The mower is one of the most important machines on your farm. With it, you harvest your hay crops, control weeds, and clip pastures to improve grazing. In addition, it may help you harvest peas, beans, or other special crops. Modern mowers, for either horse or tractor operation, are rugged, versatile machines built to deliver years of dependable service. But to give you top-notch performance, they must be properly adjusted and serviced. Here is an excellent job of mowing and a good start toward high-quality hay, rich in protein, minerals, and vitamins. Let's take another look and see how many things are involved in a really good job of mowing. First, let's look at the crop itself. To begin with, this mower is doing a fast, dependable job, catching the whole crop early at its peak in quality. But the mower does more than merely cut the crop. Notice the smooth, even swath. Curing begins here, so a uniform job is important. Also, a cleanly cut, well-laid swath gives the side delivery rake a chance to do its work well. With a swath like this, raking can be fast and clean. As soon as the leaves become limp, the hay can be rolled into light, fluffy windrows for real air-conditioned curing that saves leaves and preserves feeding values. Let's see how the mower does its work, starting with the cutter bar. Before the hay is cut, the points of the guards divided into small, even bunches. Guard points are sharp and sides smooth, so the hay won't be pushed away from the knife. After the hay is divided by the guards, knife and ledger plates cut it off quickly and cleanly, without pulling or tearing. Notice the close contact between section and ledger plate. They work like the two blades of a scissors, clipping cleanly without crushing, tearing, or pushing the hay away. The knife is carefully registered, so each section takes a full bite in each direction. As fast as the hay is cut, it falls smoothly back across the bar without catching or dragging along in small bunches. Performance like this is assured by the smooth top of the bar, free from any obstructions on which the cut hay might lodge. But clean cutting is not enough. The mower must also do an even job, cutting the whole crop at the selected height. Clipping too closely may injure legumes, especially in the fall when cutting may lead to winter killing. These adjustable shoes at each end of the cutter bar carry it at the desired height. The bar floats on these shoes, following the contour of the ground. Small variations in cutting height are made with the tilt lever. Pushing the lever forward tilts the points of the guards down for closer cutting. Pulling it back tilts the points up for better clearance over rough ground. Under ordinary conditions, however, the mower should be operated with the guards nearly level. That's the whole cutter bar story as far as the bar itself is concerned, but we have other parts which contribute much to good mowing. At the outer end of the bar, the mower must separate the cut hay in each swath from the standing crop. That's the job of the outside divider. Further division is made by the grass board and stick, which guide the falling hay safely away from the standing crop, leaving a clean, wide separation, easy to follow on the next round with the mower, and later on with the side delivery rake. The stick is adjustable, set high when mowing tall hay, and low for short crops. In addition to proper adjustment and design, this mower has plenty of knife speed to give smooth, easy cutting. It does a real job of mowing. After this check on an ideal job of mowing, let's see what you can do to get equally good results with your own mower. Better performance out in your hay field really begins in the implement shed. So let's go back a few months. Haying time seems a long ways off when the landscape looks like this, but during the off-season is the time to think of your mower, unless you checked it over thoroughly before you put it away last fall. Maybe you were too busy then, so we'll start now. A heated implement shed or shop makes the job pleasant, but there are warmer days, even in midwinter or early spring, when the ground is still too wet for field work. But the earlier we make this checkup, the better. Let's take a notebook and pencil with us to jot down any needed parts, either for replacement before the mower is used or for spares to save a hurried trip to town in the middle of haying. Every knife in the rack rates a careful check for worn, loose, cracked, or broken sections. Loose sections, if caught in time, can be tightened with a few blows of a hammer before they cause damage or delay. Sections that are broken, cracked, or excessively worn should be replaced. And don't forget to take a good look along the knife back. Sometimes it is bent. A few taps of a hammer will straighten it now and may save you a tie-up in the field. The knife head, too, deserves more than a hasty glance. Make sure that all of the rivets are tight and the head not excessively worn. And one way to beat part of the summer labor shortage is to start the season with every knife fully sharpened. Whether you use a sickle grinder, an emery wheel, or the old-fashioned grindstone, make sure that both edges of each section are fully sharpened with the same grinding angle as a new section. If you need one new knife or several, make a note of it now and order on the first trip to town, so you'll be all set before your hay is ready. An extra knife is good insurance against lost time. If you have unusual conditions which require a serrated knife for good cutting, be sure your order includes serrated sections for replacements, as well as any new knives of the serrated type which you may need. The cutting edge of your mower consists of both the knife and the ledger plates, which are firmly riveted to the inside of the guards. Now that we have the knife in shape, let's take a look at the guards which contain the other half of the cutting edge. Make sure that every guard is tight and straight in line. Sight along the bar to see that guards line up with the inside shoe. If any are out of line, they may be tapped back in place with a hammer. Then be sure to draw the guard bolts tight again. Check the ledger plates as you check the guards. Like the sections of the knife, the ledger plates must be in good condition and riveted tight. Those which are badly worn should be replaced. It takes both the sharp section and a sharp ledger plate for a good shear cut, which results in lighter draft of the mower. Now let's slide a knife into the mower and see how it works. In cutting position, it should slip freely back and forth. But excessive wear prevents good cutting and may cause breakage, so there are several points to check. Starting at the inner shoe, we'll have a look at the knife head guide. Shims are removed if necessary to draw the guide down tight enough to eliminate any looseness. Working out along the bar, each of the steel knife clips are checked to see if they have become worn so much that they allow the points of the sections to raise up from the ledger plates. The front end of these clips can be tipped down by inserting a cardboard shim under the rear of the clip or by tapping it with a hammer. Be careful, however, not to get them so tight that they prevent free movement of the knife. If badly worn, clips should be replaced. When you do tighten old clips, get a uniform job by using the end sections of the knife as a gauge. Start at the outer end of the bar and slide the knife in as you move from clip to clip. While checking the clips, the wear plates beneath them should be examined too. If excessively worn, new plates will be needed. Before we stop our search for worn places, let's have a good look at the bearings of the pitman and balance wheel. These parts take a lot of pounding and heavy mowing and travel at a high rate of speed. For smooth, quiet operation, all bearings, including the strap bearings, must be snug without being excessively tight. If you get them too tight, they'll heat, so don't overdo it. Here's one to remember, too, whenever you install a new pitman box. If you want it to run right, don't drive it on the pitman pin with a hammer. That's an easy way to ruin the bearing and cause the box to heat. So oil the new box liberally and work it slowly on the pin. And when the box is in place, throw the mower out of gear and turn the balance wheel several turns by hand to make sure everything is working freely. With all of the moving parts checked and adjusted, you might think your mower is ready for the field. But we still have two more important items to check. The first is the alignment of the cutter bar with the rest of the mower. Obviously, this cutter bar is out of alignment. If the knife is to cut freely in both directions, it must extend out from the pitman in a straight line. Then the thrust and pull of the pitman will be working directly against the crop being cut, not sideways against the knife head guides and wear plates. A simple way to check this alignment is with a piece of string tied here at the pitman box so it can be stretched along the upper side of the pitman and right in the center. Run the string out to the end of the cutter bar, keeping it down close to the knife. When you reach the outer end, pull back on the cutter bar to take up any play. Then stretch the string tight, keeping it over the center of the ball on the knife head. If the cutter bar is in alignment, the string will be parallel with the pitman and just above the rivets on the knife for the full length of the cutter bar. If the bar lags back, it should be realigned by turning the eccentric on the hinge at the rear side of the inner shoe. But before we do this, let's check the front side of the hinge. Perhaps some wear has developed at this point. If the ball and socket joint in front is tight, then adjustment of the eccentric can be made as needed. First, remove the small lock bolt so that the eccentric can be turned. Use the string again to check the alignment, giving the bar enough lead to assure practically straight line operation as the bar is being pulled forward through the standing hay. For an accurate job, the mower must be setting level. If we had a horse-drawn machine, we'd block the end of the tongue 32 inches from the ground. With a tractor mower, the whole outfit should be on level ground. With a cutter bar in alignment, there is still one more important adjustment to check: the register of the sections in relation to the guard. At each end of the pitman stroke, the section should be centered in the guards. If the knife is out of register, it won't travel far enough in one direction to take a full cut. Instead, the sections will stop before they are fully centered in the guards. When replacing a pitman, a small variation in the length of the new one will cause the sections to be out of register. This is corrected by shifting washers or shims on top of the yoke to move the cutter bar in or out in relation to the pitman and the rest of the mower. Now for a general once-over to make sure that all of the levers move freely and that all nuts are tight. Let's check the tension on this assisting spring. Having it adjusted properly makes the mower easy to operate and causes the bar to float easily over the ground. With a lifting mechanism well lubricated, the cutter bar should lift with very little effort, yet drop quickly when the lever is released. Since this is a power mower, we have two more points to check. The spring release must work freely enough to protect the mower from breakage should the cutter bar hit an obstruction. It should be adjusted so the cutter bar will just stay in position under ordinary conditions. Be sure to draw the V-belt tight enough to avoid slippage, or reduced sickle speed will result. Don't draw the belt too tight, however, or it will cause heating and extra wear. While checking the belt, take a look at the pulleys, too. Make sure they're tight on the shaft. Now for plenty of lubrication all of the way around, and your mower is all set to tackle a bumper hay crop or clip weeds in the pasture. So much for the slack season checkup. Whether you do it in the fall, winter, or early spring, it gets your haying off to a good start. Most important, it prevents delays and permits you to cut every acre at its peak in quality. To get your hay safely in the windrow by sundown, start as soon as dew has dried in the morning. and don't mow more than you can put up the following day. If your fields are not too large, mow around the outside, taking a full, even swath that will be easy to follow with the side delivery rake. In large fields, you may want to divide the acreage, but avoid making small lands. They waste time and hay. Remember that in an average crop yielding a ton per acre or more, you'll want to take just one 7-foot swath at a time with a rake, traveling in the same direction and same speed as the mower. That tends to put the leaves inside the windrow for more even curing of stems and leaves. Grease your mower by the clock. Pitman and crankshaft bearings operate at high speeds and need lubrication every 2 hours. Grease all the other moving parts at least once a day. Keep all nuts tight and cotters spread. Also check the brace rods, V-belt, and spring release occasionally. A half-minute's examination may save an hour's delay. Whenever the mower strikes anything, check the cutter bar for loose guards or broken sections. Examine it carefully once a day, no matter how clean your fields. And here's an operating tip. Keep the tractor engine at normal speed whenever the knife is cutting. If you want to slow down for a rough place, shift gears. Slowing the engine reduces knife speed and may cause your mower to clog in heavy cutting. In normal crops, don't operate above intermediate gear. That keeps the knife running fast enough for clean cutting. And here's a tip for the man with a horse-drawn mower. If you want really good performance, watch the way you hitch up. Adjust the harness so the end of the tongue is carried just 32 inches above the ground. That keeps the cutter bar running right. One more must for power mower operation. Keep the power takeoff shields in place. You're out to cut hay, not to tear your trousers off. With any type of mower, treat the cutter bar with respect, or serious injury may result. Throw the machine out of gear before cleaning, oiling, or inspecting, and stay behind the cutter bar on a horse-drawn machine. Then a sudden lunge of the horses won't find you dodging guard points. Now for some quick troubleshooting. Here's a man with mower trouble. His machine is cutting all right, but it pulls too hard. What may be wrong? First, the knife may be dull. Second, the mower may need lubrication. Third, cutter bar may be out of alignment. Fourth, bar may be riding too hard on the ground. This boy is doing a ragged job of cutting. Several things may be wrong. First, a section may be broken. Second, a ledger plate may be missing. Third, a guard may be loose or missing. Other things which may be wrong are guard points tilted too high in a tangled crop, skeleton shoes on cutter bar not set alike, or the assisting spring adjusted too tight, causing the cutter bar to bounce, or the spring too loose, so the bar drags on the ground and gathers hay. In this power mower, ragged cutting may also be caused by, first, traveling too fast for sickle speed, and second, slippage of the drive belt. This modern mower is designed to cut smoothly and with a minimum of noise. Excessive vibration means something is wrong. The most common cause is loose or misadjusted braces between mower frame and tractor. Other causes of vibration are, first, dull knife. Second, pitman or balance wheel bearings loose. Third, cutter bar out of alignment. If the mower leaves a swath with a ragged, uneven outer edge, the grass board may need adjustment. If the spring is too loose, the board may not be held sufficiently rigid to separate a heavy crop, or the stick may be set too low. In shorter crops, a ragged swath may mean the spring is so tight that the outer end of the grass board doesn't follow the ground for a clean sweep, or the stick may be set too high. If the mower tends to have excessive side draft, it may mean a dull knife, or the guards may be tilted too low to permit floating. or a loose spring may allow the bar to ride too heavily on the ground. And here's one more point to watch on hillsides. Remove this connecting link to protect the power lift clutch if the tractor should roll backward with the transmission in gear. Finally, don't forget the value of special equipment for special jobs. This high cutting attachment fits your mower for fast, even pasture clipping. And here are special cutter bars for Lespedeza and other close-growing crops, for soybeans, and for rocky fields. For crops that are wiry and hard to cut, like buffalo grass or Sudan grass, serrated sections speed up cutting. Whatever you have to mow, look to modern power mowers for faster, better cutting. They offer new speed and outstanding efficiency.